Growing your business is tough, but don't worry, we've got you covered. We interview industry experts on how they've solved their most challenging business problems in SaaS or e-commerce. No fluff, just step-by-step playbooks to help you dominate your market and crush the competition. This is the How We Solve podcast. Here's your host.
Welcome to another episode of the How We Solve podcast. Today I have the pleasure of having a good friend of mine on the show. His name is Krall. He runs a very active Facebook group called SaaS Growth Hacks, and he also helps SaaS companies get focused and accelerate growth and scale predictively. He is an awesome SaaS coach, and I'm really looking forward to having him on the show so you can learn from him. I met him a few years ago at LTVConf in London, where he gave a presentation that really blew me away. I learned about success gaps back then, which is I've been using in my businesses a lot, which I think you'll hear on this show as well. And we usually get to hang out at fun SaaS conferences around the world, but during current circumstances, this is not happening, unfortunately, but I hope to be back up and running soon. Aaron, thank you very much for being on the show.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me, David.
So which problem are we solving today?
Because I work specifically with SaaS companies, most of the problems I solve are SaaS related, software related. And one of the biggest problems that I have seen with SaaS companies is acquiring users at scale, doing so with a low CAC. A lot of SaaS companies using paid ads, and the ROI is sometimes not even there, or the rate of return is like months out. So they have, the CAC is 6 months of the LTV. So the challenge is
By the way, for everybody who's listening, cost of acquisition, right?
Oh yeah, sorry. CAC is cost of acquisition, LTV is lifetime value. So if it costs you $300 to get a client and your service is $20 a month, it takes you 10 months to grit that ad spend back. Like that's
if the customer stays. Right.
If the customer stays, right? And you have to have funding in order to fill that 10-month gap, right? So how do you acquire users at scale with zero CAC and do it in a way that is predictable and scalable? So that's what I'm going to talk about today.
Love it. Right up my alley. I've bootstrapped all of my businesses, so it's definitely a show for me. And if you want to give us a little, an elevator pitch on what you're doing, stuff I didn't mention in the intro. So
Sure. So my main thing is I work one-on-one with SaaS founders to accelerate growth. So if founders are stuck at a certain level and they can't scale faster, or they want to scale faster and they don't know what to do, I mentor them one-on-one and implement the system that I'm going to talk about. We'll implement systems like this and build these systems into their SaaS so they can scale faster and not spin their wheels and waste time.
Awesome. Love it. So let's jump right into it. How do we solve this thingy? What's the first step of getting this done?
Well, so the first thing is, and this is a huge, huge part of growing any successful outbound or inbound campaign, is identifying who your dream customer is. Now, you've probably heard things like ideal customer and target market and niche. And for me, none of those really resonated with me because it always felt like I had to uncover this person that I didn't know who it was, and I had to go find them. And over time, after working with enough SaaS founders, I've realized that the better way to do that is identify who our dream customer is. And our dream customer is someone that we know we can provide results for and that we love working with. And these can be characteristics. These can be some company size, employee size, revenue. It can be, personality traits. Who do you want to attract? And then who do you want to repel? And then who can you get results for? And that's formula. So first of all, we identify who is the dream customer. Who would you just love to work with that you can deliver results for, that won't haggle on price, won't give you a bunch of issues and slap problems and, overrun support and not pay enough and then cancel. So first of all is identifying who is your dream.
Who's your dream customer so people can maybe self-identify?
Yeah, so it's taken me a long time to figure this out. And it takes a long time to figure this out because what I found is for a long time, I never had my dream customer. I would just take customers and people who I thought I could help, and I wasn't really very picky and choosy. But eventually, I found clients that I really loved working with. What I found out for me, and this is different for everyone, but I love working with founders that are between 30 and 40. And there's a lot of reasons. I won't go into depth on why that's the case, but 30 to 40, I'd be happy to talk about that at some point. 30 to 40, they're dads, usually families. They're usually technical founders. and which means they don't have a ton of experience with marketing, and their company has grown successfully despite them not having all these systems
the
in
marketing
place.
chops. Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, which means they have a good product and they're solving a really good problem. Yep. And so if I find somebody like that, and they have to be fun, they have to enjoy working, they have to enjoy like a coaching arrangement where I show them what to do and they get it done, and they have to be action takers. They have to take action even when it's hard sometimes, and they have to be okay to ask for help when they need it. That's my dream customer.
Okay, perfect. So if you self-identify with this, hit Aaron up. He's awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
I can absolutely help you if you're in that specific, if you're my dream customer. Yeah.
Cool. So you have your dream customer. What's the next thing? What do you do?
Yeah. So now you have your dream customer. Right now, the second thing is to find out, instead of what most people do, which is do one-to-one marketing, right? You may be in the minority and you may have like a partnership program or something, but most companies, they feel like the way to grow their product is to start with one-to-one, find individual customers and bring them in. A lot of companies I work with have really good SEO, and so they're bringing in customers, but they don't have any control who those visitors are, which is like, I talk to people all the time and they're like, yeah, we have 200,000 visits a month and our conversion rate is like, visitor to trial is like 1%. And I'm like, well, let's look at who your traffic is. And we find out that it's not qualified traffic. So it doesn't matter if you have 1 million visitors a month. If they're not qualified, if they're not good customers, it doesn't really matter. So second thing is, instead of doing one-to-one or using SEO or whatever, we go out and find groups of people or organizations or companies or influencers who've already built a list of your ideal customers. Instead of going after one-on-one, you identify someone who has a list of 10,000 or 50 or 100,000 of your ideal users, or a lot of them, and you build a relationship with them instead. Let's say you need 1,000 customers to hit your MRR goal. You have two ways to do that. One is to go after 1,000 customers, which means you probably have to go after 10 or 100,000 people.
Thousands, yeah, it's really shit, yeah.
Thousands, because you're not going to be able to, let's say you convert at a 5%, you're still looking at huge numbers of acquisition and exposure. With a method, what I call the dream client catcher method, you go after people who've already built your list of ideal customers. So you need 10 people with a list of 1,000. That's 10,000. Or 2,000, that's 20,000. And that's on the really low end. But what's really cool is once you've identified and built a relationship with that person or company, they've already have a list of customers that they've served, and those customers trust them already. So when they recommend something, the conversion rate is going to be even higher. So that's next step, is going out and finding groups or resources. We look at influencers. We look at courses that exist that are serving your ideal customer, other companies that are serving your ideal customer. One of my clients works with accountants who serve their market, and the accountants just love referring business because it makes them look better, and it also helps their customers have more success with their accounting. So it can be pretty much anyone or anything.
You can also give a kickback, right? You can also have an affiliate program where you prepay them, right?
Exactly. And we usually give very generous kickbacks to them. But what's interesting about the client catcher is that the monetary value of the relationship is always secondary to the primary, which is providing value to your audience and making your partner look like the hero to their audience. Yeah. Most people don't get that. So
money is a side effect of providing value, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they may want money. They may want to make extra cash, but they're not going to do it at the risk of hurting their relationship with their users. So first of all, you make them look better with their users. And second of all, you provide a generous referral commission. So that's the second thing, is you make a list. I usually do about 100 because you're not going to get everyone, but you can easily manage 100 contacts if you're building out a partnership strategy. You can't do that if you're trying to do 10,000 people. You can easily do 100. And that means, this is where it gets really cool. If you spend $5,000 a month on ads, right? And that's over 12 months, that's what, $50,000, $60,000. Imagine what you could, let's say you cut that budget in half, $30,000. And imagine you use that $30,000 to go after your 100 dream partners. What could you do to get the attention of your dream partners with $30,000? Like, think about you could literally fly to their location, take them out to dinner, do amazing things to build a relationship with them that could turn, and all you really need is 1 or 2 really good relationships and your business has changed forever.
Crazy idea, because with COVID right now you can't fly. what we did at MaxiN, we sent swag bombs. So like, big office, we send like 50 shirts, water bottles, like whatever, kind of like random stuff. And just like, boom, like, hey guys,
yeah,
here you go.
You call them swag bombs. It's so funny. I call them shock and awe boxes. We'll send like a shock and awe box with like, tons of fun stuff in it, but a lot of it, gifts for the client, gifts for the prospect that relate to our product, and the testimonials and stuff like that. So exactly. And you can do that when you know when you really focused on who you want to work with.
Cool.
That's step two. Step two is
we identify it's your dream customer. Then we find people who've built lists already, who have like who are working with or talking to the right audience that you have. And then third step. What's up?
Third
step is
now the third step is, so you have to look at this as like building a relationship, right? Now those of us have been in a relationship know that you can't go get married on the first date. You can't say to someone, and that happens to me all the time. People come up to me and say, hey, we have a product, we want to promote it, we'll give you 50% commission, can we promote it to your audience? And I don't know who these people are. I don't know the product. I can't vouch for the product. I don't know if it delivers any results. And I ignore these messages all the time. If somebody came to me and said, we'll give you 75% of our product revenue if you promote it to your audience, and that's all the only message they sent to me, I would never respond. Because it doesn't matter how much money that I'm going to get. If I don't understand what the product is, if we don't go on a first date together, if I don't know you and know your product, I'm not going to get married to you. So that's the next step, is come up with my mentor calls this a first date offer, which is come up with something low risk that you can provide your partner so that they can see how you work. And most of the times, this is giving them your product for free and giving them a VIP white glove setup. If you have a VPN, it's like, hey, we'll move all of your sites over to our VPN for free, lifetime, no. And if you love it, maybe you consider offering it to your audience, and we'll give you a special deal. And, so.
At MaxCDN, we reached out to bloggers, and we said like, hey, back then CDN was kind of a new thing. People didn't know what a CDN was. It's like, hey, we do XYZ, would be good for your SEO and blah. You want to test it out. If you like it, you can keep on using it. Would be awesome if you write a blog post about us, and this is kind of like how we built a ton of relationships. And we ended up on number 3 in Google for the keyword CDN after 4 months,
Yes, exactly. Dude, you're the perfect person to talk to about this, because that's what bootstrapping is. You are leveraging other people's relationships. You're being smart with your time. And I love that. That's exactly what you should be doing. And if you do this you can do this with bloggers. You can do it with course creators. You can do it with other products that complement yours. There's so many different ways we have a whole process for this. And if you just focused on one angle, which is like, I want to get my product integrated into as many courses that my dream customer are taking as possible.
Okay, a few other things where we really knocked it out of the park was we did an integration with W3 Total Cache, which is a WordPress caching plugin. And, because people who use this plugin want their website faster. CDNs make their website faster. Integrating CDN can be a little work, but we made the integration so easy that they just have to plug in their API key and press a button, and boom, the site's on the CDN. This was like our most profitable affiliate that we had. With other platforms like with PrestaShop, etc., just like just get integrated into the product. This was like the gift that kept on giving. This was really good for us.
Yeah, and what I love about what you did, David, is that instead of doing this one, usually when people talk about affiliates and JVs and partnerships, there's kind of like an icky feeling with that outside of the SaaS world, which is like, you promote my service, I'll promote yours, and then the next month I'll promote the next thing, next month I'll promote the next thing. With an ideal partnership like this, you want to do a first date, but the next step is to integrate your product into theirs. So what you did was, anytime somebody downloaded WP3 Cache,
Total Cache, yeah.
Yeah, Tool Cache. Yeah. Every time somebody downloaded that tool, they get exposure to your tool for free. You didn't have to do anything. Like, they did all the marketing. You leveraged their audience. And then if they signed up, did you give them a commission they signed up? Yeah, there you go. So they're making more money. They're making more money without having to do anything.
It's a win-win-win situation. Win-win-win. We win, they win, and their customers win.
And the customer
most important thing, like, them is win. Yes.
Exactly. It's so genius what you did, because everyone wins. Your CAC is 0. You have no CAC. The only CAC is when somebody buys.
The affiliate commission. Yes, when somebody buys.
Affiliate commission, right? Like, and that's like, who wouldn't say, if I give you a customer, will you pay me a percentage? Like, that's the ideal situation, right? Instead of dumping $5,000 into Facebook ads and not knowing what you're going to get back.
Especially with SaaS, where like the stuff that you're selling is, or like a virtual product, it doesn't matter. If you have like some hard cost, or I have service businesses where it's like painful to pay, especially continuous affiliate commissions, but with SaaS, like, all day, every day.
It's so much easier for SaaS than it is. And you see this happen all the time outside of SaaS too. Like you ever go to a local restaurant and you see all these business cards on the front, like promoting local services? That's like a JV partnership. They're leveraging other people's audiences. And so if you can do that successfully, you can just blow up your business. Like what you did, but if you had somebody that was working on just that full time, just partnerships, you might even have some.
I had multiple people doing that, yes.
There you go. Most people don't. I would, if somebody said to me, should my first hire be? If I have a product is in place, customer support is in place, the product is good, I have good developers, what should my first hire be? I would say hire a partnership developer. Go and develop, not a Facebook ad guy, not an Instagram person, not a TikTok influencer.
I've been doing this for a very long time, and I've never been, it's kind of almost embarrassing, but I've never been successful with ads. I've spent, I think, multiple $1 million on ads so far, but I was never happy with the results of the ads. But, always partnerships all day long. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
I have friends that are doing really well with ads, especially in the e-com space, but I just I don't know, it's not my cup of tea.
Me too. I don't know what it is. I'm just not smart enough to do ads. I don't have the patience. So it's so much easier for me to go out and build. You and I are relationship people, right? We're good at building relationships. We're like likable people, right? So it's fun for us to go after partners and say, hey, I love what you did with this. Can we chat? I would love to talk to you, send you a gift, send you this box of swag for free. Let's talk and have a relationship. That is my way of growing a business. It's much faster and easier and less risk than any other medium that I found too. And way more fun. It's way more fun. Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
So, all right. So we identify the dream customer. We find people who build lists already. We create our first date offer. And then what do we do next? I guess what's the next step?
The fourth one is integration. And we kind of already talked about this. But after you build the relationship, after you've run one or two first dates, right? You go on a few first dates with the person you're dating, right? You write a blog article for them and you talk about how you can close a success gap. You do a social post. And here's something else, guys, that you should remember. Partners are the most lazy people on earth. What I mean by that, not to mean that they're not successful, it's just that they're not going to go out of their way to write a post to promote your product to their audience. They're not going to do it. But if you present them with pre-written social media posts, pre-written emails, pre-written pretty much everything, a landing page, what we do is you go to partners and we say, hey, I'd like to give this to you for free. And if you love it, I'd like you to give it to your audience for free as a gift from you. And we'll create a landing page brought to you by, Aaron Krall or David Hensel and whatever the company name is. And then the copy says, as a gift for you, David is going to provide this free training or free course or 60 days free of this tool, which you're going to love as a special bonus for just being a follower of mine, right? So you do all of that for them. And then after you do those first dates, then you talk about how can you integrate your product into their service. David, yours was a brilliant example of how to integrate it within the tool in the actual development side. But there's other ways to do it too. So if somebody signs up for your product, you can say if anybody signs up for the pro plan, you get access to this free course provided by. That's what I'm doing right now. If you're a company that services SaaS like an onboarding tool, I have a training that you can get for free. It's called the Onboarding Flow Builder, and it's how to map out your whole onboarding. I will go to onboarding tools and I'll say, hey, as a bonus, you can give this training to your audience so they have more success with your product. It's $1,500 training I'm giving you for free, and it's really good. It's not some cheapo PDF. It's exactly how to build an onboarding flow. And then if they want more help growing and scaling their SaaS, you got an affiliate link in there and you get a commission if they become a customer. If not, that's totally fine too.
And this is success gaps. So maybe elaborate on success gaps a little more, because this is the concept that blew my mind when.
Yeah. So when it comes to your customer, they come to you to solve a very specific problem. And sometimes the problem is not the same as the job to be done. So, for instance, if you are a booking tool, right, you're focused on dental agencies or dentists, and you help dentists manage their bookings. managing their bookings is the job to be done. That's the job they want to get done, is manage their bookings better. But why do they want to manage their bookings better? Is because they want to grow their practice. And in order to grow their practice, there's multiple things they need to do. One of them is managing their clients better. Another one might be marketing better. Another one might be how to do better upsells. So they still need to solve multiple problems. You're only solving one on this like linear path. If there's happy face here and sad face here, and there's a line, you're solving one of the points on the line, but there's this gap to get them from where they are now to where they want to be, which is grow their practice. Now you solve one problem, but you're not going to be able to solve all the problems. You can't. You're not going to be able to solve every single problem. But when you approach the dentist and say, hey, we don't help you with how to do upsells, but we have a partner of ours who can close that success gap for you and help you grow your practice. And it might be helpful for you. And they've talked to us and we partnered with them and they're going to offer you a free training as a gift from us. And we hope you love it. Here's a link to download it, right? And so not only does it not compete, keep in mind, like on that line, they're not right on top of you, they're next to you. So they're not competing with you in any way. They're complementary, which is key. And the more of those success gaps that you can close for your user, let's say they're here and you want to get them here and you can help them with upsells, you can help them with their marketing, you help them with hiring. They look at you as the resource, the person that solved all their problems. Yeah.
Just one more, from a selfish point of view, with Task Drive, one of our businesses, we do lead research for people who do outreach, right? And, for example, we give them their leads, we pass it to them, and if they don't know how to write proper outbound messages, if they don't know which tools to use, etc., then they'll say like, okay, this shit doesn't work, even though they just, they're not able to close the success gaps on their own. So we can either give them content or we can refer them to partners who then help them to, to actually succeed. And then you have a way lower churn rate because people actually get the value out of the software that you have or the service that you provide.
That's exactly right. 100%. Couldn't have come up with a better example. That's great.
Very cool. So to recap, identify a dream customer, find people who've lists already, create your first date offer, which I really like, and then provide something for free to the audience. As the example of your course, which is awesome that you bundle with services, close the success gaps, and then integrate your product offer into the offering and pay them commission or not and grow.
Yeah, there's a kind of, I know, that's a very high level. There's a lot more to it. But if that resonates with you, I would suggest reading a book by Chet Holmes called
The Ultimate Selling Machine.
Ultimate Sales Machine. That's where this concept came from. Yes. Ultimate Sales Machine. I just tweaked it for SaaS. And if you want more help with that, I've got some free stuff on my website and in my group, SaaS Growth Hacks, you can check out too. A lot of really good resources you can check out for free. So
that's awesome. We're so in sync. This was our next question. Any books or resources you can recommend? You read my mind, but
there's a lot of really good books. Ultimate Sales Machine is one of my favorites because it's not just how to get customers, how to run a business, $1 billion business. I love that. As far as like SaaS related books, I mean, if you've read any of Jason Lemkin's stuff, Aaron Ross, they all have really good stuff. Most of the really good ideas that I've gotten have actually come from books and industries not related to SaaS, to be honest with you. Because in the SaaS world, everyone's doing the same types of things.
Same stuff, yeah.
In order for you to do something, in order for you to stand out, you got to try different things.
Cool example for cross-reading. A friend of mine has a company that is creating courses for people. Really high-end, well-produced, super high-end courses with giant video teams, etc. And he modeled his business after the film and record industry. And, and there he got the ideas for having evergreen content that, it's really, I don't want to get into too much detail to not give away his secret sauce, but this made such a crazy impact in his business. And I would have never thought that he can squeeze that much money out of this business. So
that's great. I love that. Yeah.
But Aaron, this was really awesome. This was really concise and amazing content. We just launched UpCoach, and right now we're not really marketing it, and I already had in mind to kind of do the same game as we did with Max DN, but he kind of reinforced my belief and just kind of really doubling down on partners and just screw the rest.
Great.
Yeah. Awesome. So people can find you under aaronkrall.io, right? And if you're not a member, you should definitely check out SaaS Growth Hacks on Facebook. Really active, cool community. Yeah. And if you fit Aaron's dream customer, then definitely hit him up. for some one-on-one coaching.
Sweet.
All right. Awesome. Aaron, thank you very much for being on.
Appreciate it.
Rock and roll. Take care,
everyone. See ya.
Is your sales team spending too much time researching leads and accounts? We take over all the labor-intensive sales development tasks so your team can focus on building relationships and closing more deals. We don't just build lists. We take a strategic, research-based approach to find your team qualified leads every day. Ready to start? Schedule your free consultation at taskdrive.com. That's taskdrive.com.
Thanks for listening to the How We Solve podcast. Dominate your market and crush the competition with our step-by-step playbooks. Subscribe right now in your favorite podcast player or visit howwesolve.com.